Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Tilt City, the show where we break down all the action that went on. Well, not all the action, but most of the action that went on this weekend in the Premier League, and then see how people turn that into winnings. Not necessarily how I turned it into winnings. I kind of did okay, but we'll see how people really pulled it in here. Before we hop into all that, though, make sure while you're here to just pop a like on the video. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the views as well. If you don't want to, I don't know what to tell you. Like it anyway, but comment and tell me that my sweater looks stupid or something, or you have a much better point on that my picks were a little off the wall today. We'll see. We'll take a look at that. Usually, I'm here joined with my co-host Alex, who it's hard to call him a co-host. Let's put it in terms. He's Pep. Arteta. It's that sort of dynamic, and he's usually the guy who's on with this, the guy who is coming with the intelligence here. And I guess I'm more covered. I'm not Arteta because in like the color commentary, I'm like Arteta if he was like really, really dumb. But yeah, we're gonna get into all that coming up. Don't worry about it. Also, I don't think but please subscribe to the FSI channel, where, like Alex, there are much more capable people to take you through not recaps, previews, so you can make some money too off of the intelligence these guys are coming with. And they really do bring it. It's subscribing to the videos, checking them out, but also hopping into the discords, ponying up for that subscription, and it'll come back. I promise you, man. We're going to take you through it. But yeah, let's take a look at what went on, starting with the results from this past Saturday. I didn't get in on any of the games. I'm not even sure if there were two showdowns, but Chelsea and City. Just talk about this one. I mean, I heard that it seemed like City had figured out Chelsea in this one. If you had asked me, it seems like this is just going to be a match that's going to be 1-0, 2-1, 1-1 for a couple more games from here on out. Two very good teams, and Jesus pulls in the goal from Cancelo. Don't know how it happened. Wasn't awake because I got better things to do, like sleep on a Saturday morning rather than watch these two idle it out. I guess I would have liked to watch this one. I'm assuming I was off a corner, but I really couldn't tell you. I didn't watch this one either. But I would have liked to have seen Man U lose. Why not? Everyone does, except for, well, everyone does. Getting into where the I started playing and where I actually had some kind of good results. Probably about the first half, probably until about 60 minutes in, it all started to fall apart. But yeah, I was looking at some first place finishes in the quarter one. I was hoping I could come on and talk about that, and I guess be without Alex for it, ironically. But I was hoping that I could, and that's all right. Anyway, Everton pulls ahead Norwich City here. The penalty from Townsend? That's right. And yeah, not a whole lot. I guess if I remember correctly, and we'll look at it a little bit later, the Norwich defenders kind of came through here, but not much else out of them. Everton, more and more looking like Decore is a guy in the 5,000, 6,000 range that you're going to want to keep an eye on if he pops up, especially if you're stacking Everton. He's probably looking at third guy, the third or fourth guy if you're going for a stack there. And Townsend, of course, made himself worth his while outside of sets too. Let's see. This one I was expecting put a little too much on this one, I think, and possibly in the wrong places. We're going to take a look at that. It Leeds is one of those ones that I always find a way to overweight them a little bit. I worked it down to Rafinha as the main guy, obviously, but I had a little too much. I think Daniel James, a little too much Stuart Dallas here, and it should just be Rafinha. Just worry about Rafinha because he pulled that goal. Cliche is actually a guy that, yeah, he's probably, if there's a second guy you want out of them, keep him in mind. I guess a team like West Ham, they're going to get some movement, which is what they need. And it wasn't enough to outdo them because Firpo tied it up himself. And then Antonio does what he does with the assist from Rice, who Rice is in the 4,000 range. Keep an eye out for him. He's going to fit in nicely. When you're expecting it, when you got a match like this for West Ham. Uh, Burnley. Gosh, we said it again and again. I cannot quit Nick Pope because I thought that because I kind of knew my bias against Leicester at the beginning of the season. I think they'd mostly. I feel like they've done worse than they actually have. I think they're just boring to watch. And so that's my bias on them, especially because I feel like Jamie Vardy he shows up when I don't need him to. This is one of those ones. He's the top player on this slate in terms of points. Throughout almost a hat trick in this one actually. He should get the hat trick for that. Cornet pulls in the other goal from Burnley, and yeah, Vardy on both of them from Tielemans and Nacho coming in. James Madison not even getting about 20 minutes there. Not even. He'll be back, I guess. I don't know. At some point, you gotta think so, right? And another one that I try to keep an eye out for, only on Alice's suggestion, is Harvey Barnes, who I think would have had 10 if not for that yellow card. And then finally, when I was expecting more goals out of one way or the other, was Watford and Newcastle here. Danny Rose, I mean, good for him. He was probably one of the better plays, I think, especially for cheap guys at defense. And then Sarr gets goal as he does. Not before Longstaff got one in, which I didn't catch this one, didn't see how it happened, but Longstaff had a great turnaround today, great floor game. I didn't know that he was that. Maybe that's just because they were just playing Watford, but yeah. And then 3-3. I only saw the first two of this one because we were out at our favorite bar, the Old Angle in Ohio City. Yeah, and I only saw these two here, but this probably looked like a fun one. I keep meaning to check out the replays on it. Anyway, gonna hop through the results here real quick. This is my cash lineup, which looks like you should get a little bit. You should get 0.5 more for the second for the top three in double ups, just because I was here. Yeah, this was a lot of fun to build these. I don't know. It was really easy to work around the really expensive guys. If you could pick Sarr or Townsend to fade, especially. I mean, one of them, it got even easier. In the GPPs, as we'll see, this sort of area held me back, but this was a great group here. I'm gonna take a look because this is what I always look at. What doesn't make the cut what just doesn't make the cut in a cash lineup? So this is someone who just missed out by 0.6. He got Sarr in there. He got Antonio. And okay, see, this is where I usually end up with Bowen. Usually he gets double digits and he still doesn't get you there. But this is one of those ones where he definitely doesn't get you there. Cleverly, what did he get hurt in that one? That's tough. And Richie is another guy that, and this is a kind of a Richie, very Richie experience for me. He brings in the double digits, but it's not a ton. And there's other guys on Newcastle might have gone to, or a different defender that worked out. I think even Danny Rose pulled in more of this or similar. And yeah, right, Nick Pope. Okay, yes, yeah, this is tough. You gotta make sure you get all those points out of everyone that you can, especially when there's other guys. Townsend had a better game. Rafinha, I think, just had a better game than this, so that's not gonna get you there. And then what got this guy over the line? Vardy and Bowen is good here, and Danny Rose didn't do that quite as good of him, but for that price point, you've done better than Bowen probably. Anyway, taking a look at the quarter ones, I should say, if you're expecting to see some guy who won, 20,000 off some lineup, it ain't happening here because I don't play that. I am not that good, and I'm too. So you're going to see probably a guy that won $60 or something like that, which that works for me. And if you watch the show, you know that I usually am very relaxed. When it comes to my results, usually it's Alex freaking out because he plays with too much money. It's dangerous. Just have fun with it. And this was my best one in this cheap competition here, because of Vardy. I mean, it's not just because of Vardy, but for that price, he was a great pivot to come off too. He was that ownership is kind of even a little higher than I would have expected, but that's critical. You save a couple bucks there, and he brings you the most points in that you can. Danny Rose is here. Barnes, this is a pretty solid lineup. I think this is the one that was winning first until I want to say what Antonio kind of threw a wrench into it. Maybe I think Sarr scoring too also screwed it up. Also, another side note: if anyone knows out there how to pull up that view where it has the players by points on a desktop, I would love to show it that way because I think that's a great way to learn and see like who popped off. But also in terms of salary too, if anyone knows how to do that on desktop, I would love to know. Tell Alex in the Discord, comment below. I'm going to be looking down at my phone over here to kind of get a look at it. So apologies in advance for that. But yeah, anyway, next best one here. Let's see. What was that? Yeah, this one had Decore in it. This one would have done a lot better if I had gone with a little bit of a chalkier look here with what Pickford, right? And you know, I don't know. There wasn't really much. I think I took a look. There wasn't much in terms of like the really cheap center backs, except for Norwich. There are two Norwich guys that in like 5 points or so each, which could have been, which might be the decider for some of these first place ones. I think this is okay. Wow, West Ham stack here. For some reason, not finding a way to get to Fabianski, and that's why I am 351st with that one, winning 50 cents. Let's take a look. I'm not going to even waste your time trying to guess the first place one. I'd rather just sort of be stunned by it and take it as it comes. So here we go. Vardy. Yeah. Okay. Decore is a guy. Make sure you check out Galazzo for Alex's picks on Thursday, as well as the regular sort of breakdown from Gator Guy. But Alex really takes some time and goes through all of these guys, some ups and downs on them, and you're gonna want to include them in guys like Decore in your builds. Okay, so Ogbonna, well done, never mind. You got this guy there, but this is where Pickford gets you. This is where the sheet from all the Everton guys gets you. And yeah, the total fate of the guy is over 10,000, which was probably the idea, the best idea there. Though it seems like people kind of had that with Antonio pivoting off of him for another great result out of him. He's going to keep bringing it. Second place. Okay, so Calvin Phillips. See, okay. I'm not going to predict this guy did much better than me, but I'm going to say it's all because of Richie on this one. Almiron had a great game too. Newcastle there's always some guy in the 5,000 range that's going to pop off from them, and then a guy that's going to pop off just a little bit less. I wish I had a more concrete thing to back that up with, but Longstaff and Almiron are those guys for this set of games, or for this game. And St. Max had sort of a good day. 15 points. It's one of those ones where you're spending a little bit too much when you could have gone spread it out for probably a couple of 5,000 guys as opposed to locking it down with him and punting way down there. Let's take a look at the Booba 48 here. Just missed out on second. Sissoko. Okay. That's good to know. I always find the bottom barrel midfield guy is really key. And it's key in my mind anyway. And I don't know that you needed Sissoko here, but he's gonna get you almost twice what you put into him. So yeah. Real quick, gonna pop over to what I threw in for the King of the Pitch qualifier. I'd like to throw in one of these two just in case and get weird with it, as Alex said. I tried to do here. I kind of expected, like I said, I thought Newcastle might pull into, or Watford would pull into, and I was hoping it would be Newcastle, especially for this. Thought St. Max would maybe pick up a goal and an assist, or even a goal here. So that's a pretty good game for him with just an assist. I thought Lookman was going to pop off faster just because he sort of thought it'd be fresh for them. Turns out they didn't need it because they still have Jamie Vardy. But that's that. Everton guys bringing it in, and Bertrand yeah. See, though, so these are the Leicester guys. I had high hopes for Bertrand at the beginning of the season. It's kind of only ever let me down. So that is what it is. I just find somewhere else on defense. I don't even know. Pereira is another guy I always have hopes for, and he never seems to get there. Let's take a look at Barton first. Okay. This is a lot of Watford. A lot of the different pieces. I didn't expect to see these two here. This is a weird one, but that's how you do it. I really want to see what misses here. This is how the other people get weird with it. This is the second place. A guy negative and the goalie at nothing, almost nothing, and almost gets you there. Okay, I didn't know Firmino did that bad. I was a little worried about that because I had too much of him actually. So never mind. That explains a lot. All right, enough of that. Let's move on to today's result, which I'm glad I guess I sort of am glad I did the classic. I didn't realize it was going to be back to the last year's like split entries, waiting on the entry for the next one. And for an Arsenal and Tottenham with as much the way the game went, it was clear that one was a much better team, but they have been on the same level of poor results in the past couple games. But Arsenal is definitely on the upswing, and that was definitely the way to go. But first of all, let's get to Southampton, Wolverhampton here. The only goal in the whole thing, Jimenez right up front, go figure, from Sa, who had a great game without the assist. Probably I think even without the clean sheet win, he also had a great game. So keep him in mind. But Southampton without Ings is sort of, they're missing that guy up front. They're missing a guy who should be playing ahead of what's his name? It should be someone besides Redmond out there. Like I said, Ings up front, but times change. This was kind of a tough one because I thought that Wolves would be a little hungry after midweek losing on penalties. And I also thought Podence was going to be the guy here. Jimenez got right up to the goal from that long ball assist, and he could have passed it off to Podence, but he decided to take the shot, which he earned. But just spread the love around, man. Come on, this is a team game. Give me the goal. Anyway, Livramento, as we'll see here, had a pretty solid game. El Yunusi had a solid floor game too, and James Ward-Prowse did, but he probably should. That's what you expect from him for where ownership ends up on him, and price-wise too. At the top of my head, I will take a look at it later. I'm not sure any of these guys besides Sa and Jimenez came through, which really is what bit me in the ass. Had a little bit too much of Wolves here, a little too much of these two guys. Actually, anytime I had Sa and Jimenez, it was also in a step with Hwang Hee-chan and Podence, which was not really the way. Kind of salvaged it a little bit, but not too much. And this was a really fun one. I'm way past tilting about Tottenham, and I'll tell you, right off the bat, I have a huge bias against Harry Kane. Hate the guy, should be out of the game, the team. He shouldn't be out of the game, but this team should be 150 million pounds richer, or whatever it was. I don't know. He should be sold. I'm just gonna say it. He was worse than a passenger in this game. But enough about that. When watching Tottenham lose like this it's just fun. I don't care. It's because it's still a show where you watch these guys just goof up the entire time, and then Son puts in a goal and you're happy for him. But yeah, right. Geez, look at all those. Right, that first half was a monster 20 minutes for them. Saka to Smith Rowe to Aubameyang, and then Saka for the lone goal. Smith Rowe was the big 5,000 guy that you wanted in this one, and I saved that for all sorts of Tottenham guys, as you might imagine. Never going to do that again. It's going to be Son. It might be one more guy, and that's it. And Ndombele looked terrible, and he pulled in points to match that too. And it's definitely the other side of the wheel for our Arsenal here, because this is where you have guys that are 5,000. All the other guys on the wings getting involved. I had way too much more here, more when I should have found a way to get to Saka a lot more. Whatever, we'll get into that. Let's take a look at my cash, which nice, I just made it. So I thought Odegaard would have pulled in a little bit more, but he got you there. Lloris somehow wasn't negative, which this is probably where a lot of my problems are, because I was definitely going bottom of the barrel, hoping for 8 points and a loss or something like that out of him, which didn't quite get there. Livermento's game was pretty solid, and I thought Marçal would have done it too. Should have probably gone for, I don't even know here. We'll see if there's any other left backs that were better to go for. Probably just a cheaper guy, honestly. Tierney maybe, but he was more expensive. Anyway, was really reeling off Son here, but he pulled it through off his solo, or not a solo goal, but his goal. So good on you, man. Thanks for another. Thanks for being on the team, Son. I hope you leave. Okay, someone who just missed out on cashing in the double up here. So you had Tierney, and Walker Peters was not a bad play for 4,000, but Royal coming on and not doing much is not going to get you there. And Odegaard was kind of a big weight for his price point. What he pulled in, could have done a little better. And then McCarthy too, obviously, is not going to do it. Someone who does cash in this one by a little bit less than 2.5 rather. Okay, right. Okay, Reguilon. Yeah, Reguilon is probably one of the best plays. Without the assist, it's kind of a good day for him too, even though I was yelling at him plenty. Yeah, I think there's kind of a day where you just got to shave off these points, and the GPPs are going to take a look. I'm assuming Jimenez and Sa are going to be all over the tops of these results here, which is not my top result. Which okay, but it's a nice restrained exposure to all this from Southampton that we're producing floors here. Elyounoussi actually didn't break 10, so I was wrong on him, but Livermento had a pretty solid game, almost had a goal himself. And again, Ward-Prowse just needs an Ings defeated to get up in the 20, 25, 30 range. 15 points as a floor is great, though. I hope they get a guy up front that can be at the end of his at the end of some crosses from him. Yeah, and this is pulling at 107th, so it should tell you how this is looking. I can't believe that I don't even have a Sa anywhere near up here, but you'll see, because I'm going to go until I find one, because Podence and Hwang Hee-chan are probably going to drag those down a lot. Here's Jimenez with the way getting blown out keeper and Lloris. But it's Son and Saka, and the limited exposure to Southampton here that does it. Okay, all right. So yeah, Marçal was a big waste here, and then Podence, and Moutinho is a huge. I knew it going into it. He wasn't going to bring more than 10 points, and that is not even like a big assist getter. His floor is, I don't know if it's not really there. I don't know. Another, I got to stop doing this to where I have like a stack of all the guys. Just get exposure to a couple. The other to that, put them all together, move on. Got to do that. And yeah, let's see if I can get. I think I had one more with Sa, which was the problem too. And this is the one with. Okay, all right, yeah, this is even worse because these two were terrible. Still cash, but. Yeah, it's going to happen. Should have had probably Partey here. I think Partey pulled in 9 points. Another guy who's going to be in the 4,000 range, and against a worse team, well, a team as good as the Tottenham did here, will be pretty useful for you. And let's see who got some of the top results with 150 points. Jeez. All right. Yeah, so you have all the guys at defense that you needed, and this is where a good lineup with Sa gets you. Picking the only guys you needed from that one for Wolves, and picking almost 100% correctly everywhere else. I don't even know. I mean, you could have been done 3 points better, but you don't want any other, with Partey. You think he had 9 points, like I said, but it's not going to get you anywhere else. You get first anyway. This guy possibly could have used it, but yeah. And this is a little bit too much in Tierney. Routinho holding you back, as I think he does now. And okay, and this is okay. And this is where Smith Rowe pulled in, which probably on a this is a that's not a very good floor game, a very good floor game from him. So maybe that third or fourth guy against another bottom tier team, which Tottenham bottom tier 2 as far as I'm concerned. Let's take a look at the king of the pitch one that I threw in for this one. 31st, not gonna get you there. Podence does it again. I thought he wasn't even that low owned, which great. Anyway, I thought he would have pulled in a goal or an assist and some crosses or something against the Southampton team, they should have had a goal too. Ridiculous. And then I thought El Nuyusi would have ended up in front of the goal, which he did a couple times, but not enough to get across. Molly, Lloris, and Kane are not getting you there. I don't know why I put Kane in this one. Anyway, let's see what the winner of it did. Okay, right. And that gets you 20 points clear of the second place result. This is probably going to look great too, so it's going to be funny. Okay, yeah, it's just Marcel and Odegaard holding you back here, and even at Partey. That'll do it. I can't believe, man. Yeah, this doesn't weird, and I guess probably on a 2-game slate you don't need to get super weird with it. I need to actually talk to Alex more to figure out what exactly he means by that, and then I'll tell you what that means once I figure that out. Not a terrible weekend. I kind of evened out on both of these days. I lost $1 each at each contest, and the hardest thing for me always with these is finding out how to apply what I think that I learned, and not to apply everything that I think I learned, but find some middle ground there. And it always seems like it's the weird ones that do well when I get conservative, and it's the cashy ones with a little bit of a twist that will do well otherwise. If Alex was here, he probably would put me in my place. Not put me in my place, but help me out here a little with it. But I'm too casual with it, man. I just like to have fun. And if I can win back what I put in, I'm happy. Should get hungrier probably, but oh well. Coming up, what's tomorrow? Crystal Palace and Brighton. I think I got a busy day at work. Probably not going to touch that one, but could be some points to be had between those two. Could also be a 0-0-1-0 sort of result. We'll see. Yeah. Stay tuned for Galazzo on on Thursday or Friday. Gator will be coming through with his picks in the main video as well. Let's go to another week. Don't worry. What are you gonna do about it, man? It's fine. And like on Saturday, when I was pulling in some of those first, second place finishes, it felt pretty solid. And it felt good to it felt good to see it work out at least in that amount of time. And it was nice too to keep it going to where I didn't bottom out completely after that. It was just sort of regressing to the mean, coming back instead of working up to that 90% finish there, working back down to it. But it is what it is. Things are clicking. It's pretty good. All right, I got nothing more. If you're sticking around this far through me just talking to myself and not a very good broadcaster it is, thank you. Be sure to tune in the next one where I'll have a better co-host. Not just me. Take it easy, guys. Have a good week.